Thanks to the supporters of channel member Robert Bannerman. Oh, boys and girls, it's that time again where we travel 5 years into the future at the end of a save and see just how much the Football Manager AI has ballsed up that wonderful Manchester United team I put together. Here we go. And that, by the way, was probably the last time you'll ever see the Non-League to Legend intro song, because I'd already planned I wasn't going to have a new one made for FM25. They're a relic of the past. I reused the FM24 ones. Obviously, we stayed in FM24. By the time 26 comes around, I just don't think we're going to have an intro song. So that was it. I should have built it up in advance, shouldn't I? Anyway, it's 5 years in the future. Let's see what's been going on. We're going to work through the 3 teams that we managed in Non-League to Legend in order to see how they've got on. And oh my word, it looks like Brackley fell apart again. When we left them 5 years ago, they'd made it back to League One, and now they're all the way back down to the National League North again. These are the yo-yoiest of yo-yo clubs ever. Imagine being a Brackley fan. So since I came in there, they've gone National League North, up to National League, League 2, League 1, League 2, National League, League 2, 1 year in League 1 again, 2 years in League 2, both of which were a struggle, and then an immediate relegation from the National League as well. And then they finished second in National League North, but I guess lost in the playoffs. So they are now officially, 15 years on from when I first took over, exactly back where they are when I took over in the National League North, losing in the playoffs. Some things change, some things remain the same. And actually, they've spent most of the last 15 years in relegation battles. I mean, yeah, there's been a few first place finishes. There's been, those 3 in a row were lovely. You're welcome, Brackley fans. When we did National League North, National League, League 2, there was only one more title winning season, another National League a few years later, but they finished bottom of the league 3 times, 20th or lower, like 7 times. Half the time of the last 15 years has been relegations or close escapes. How weird. Alpha Ruprecht did remain as a club legend, though. Bradley Omvian is a club icon, and that's about it. Otherwise, you'd have no evidence I was ever here. It's now a fans trust owning the club. So there's been multiple, after the tycoon, multiple occasions where financing has been withdrawn. It looks like, there you go, 2030, they actually went back semi-pro. All those years later, after we turned professional in 2026, they then went semi-pro again in, where was that? 2030. So they were actually only professional for 4 years. Went back, was semi-pro again for 2 years, went professional again, and then I guess went semi-pro again when they got relegated. Yep, turned semi-pro again in 2037, and are now a semi-pro National League North team that loses playoffs. At least they got the new stadium out of it, eh? But, that's now 11 years old and probably starting to look a little rough around the edges. Do I make, if Coventry are a mid-table championship team when we look at them now, I'm just going to give up. Nothing I do has a long-term impact. No, Coventry is still in the Premier League. We made some long-term impact. And Colin Hart is still there and his club captain, only 28 years old, 9 England caps, but there you go, club captain Colin Hart. Gabriel Assetti is there. Bearing in mind, he's done most of his career at Coventry and has got 29 caps for France. So that shows that this is a good team. Thomas Tuchel is the manager there now. So Ralph Hasenhüttl didn't last forever. He left after 5 and a bit years in charge to go and manage. Why is Coventry not on his list of? He went somewhere. Did he just retire? Oh no, he went to Newcastle and then retired. I don't know why this isn't showing his actual history. It's his playing career. In fact, can we go? No, we can't. He's now retired. He was replaced by Marco Padovani, who lasted a couple of years before he left to go and manage Italy. And he's now been replaced by a now 67-year-old Thomas Tuchel, who looks like he left Inter to become manager of Coventry. That he genuinely left Inter to join Coventry. Coventry are a big club. If we have a look how they've been getting on, we've been, I say we, they're still my boys. They've been back in the Premier League 10 years now, never finished in the bottom half in all that time, multiple Champions League qualifications. There's now been 3 Champions League campaigns. There's been 2 times in the Europa League. So what's that? 6 European campaigns in 10 years, never finished in the bottom half. Coventry are just Brentford. Spurs. Coventry are the new Spurs, everybody. Let's have a look at the team, see how many of these boys we recognise. Obviously, Namdi is still there as well. He's got 71 caps for Nigeria now. I told you he'd be good. At 29, he's now wanted by Saudi Arabia, so he's probably on his way out. Amrouche and Assetti are still there. That's a centre-back partnership I put together 10 years ago now. And I mean, they as a partnership are not on the Coventry Club Legends list. If you spend 10 years together in the top half of the Premier League, after 30 years in the wilderness, you then, or 20 years in the wilderness at least, you then have 10 years in the Premier League, never finishing in the bottom half with basically the same centre-back partnership. That is a legendary centre-back partnership as far as I'm concerned. But neither of them making it even onto favoured personnel, are they? None of my boys making it into legends. Icons, no, none of my boys are icons. Only Samuel Illing, Manuel, and Colin Hart favoured personnel. So those 2 centre-backs, that's bonkers. Is the Coventry Stadium, is that new? They've moved into a new stadium. Even though the Rico or whatever it's called now is relatively new, they've moved out of that into a 43,000 all-seater stadium in Coventry. They've been there 4 years now. So, I mean, state-of-the-art facilities. Coventry are they are a big club now. They're a top half Premier League team who occasionally flirt with the Champions League. And looking through their transfer history, it looks like they flirt with the Champions League and then sell off the best players that got them there. For example, Roger Fiorentino, the goalkeeper that I signed just before I left, has gone to Manchester City for 89 million there. So they're the odd big player sale. And then they rebuild, rinse, repeat. And they are a good, solid, established team. I am proud of what I've achieved there at Coventry. Let's see what the AI has done to Man United. They are still Premier League champions. Joe Ireland is still captain and he's still there. Well, how am I not a club legend? I mean, Lamine Yamal is the second biggest legend in the history of the club behind only Ryan Giggs. So he stayed there. I mean, my plan was to sell him. He stayed there on that same £500,000 contract and he's done 6 years there now. None of the rest of them have made it onto club legends. How I'm not even, I mean, I'm favoured personnel. I'm almost as good as Alejandro Garnacho. Feel like I've maybe contributed a little bit more to the club than Garnacho, but I mean, Luis Enrique was manager for 4 years. Okay, apparently, he took over after me, so he just carried on winning the league every year. 4 leagues and 16 cups. Oh God, this club was dominant. Okay, it's fair enough that Luis Enrique is slightly higher up the favoured personnel list than I am. To be fair, we should both be much higher than that. I returned Manchester United to where Alex Ferguson left them, and Enrique's just carried on my delicious work. And then this guy, Alfred Verga, who is a new gem, who's previously managed Real Betis, former Liverpool manager, Juventus, Real Madrid, and now Manchester United. He's won the league as well. We'll check in on Liverpool in a minute. Obviously, I'm going to have my version of trying to get Liverpool back. Let's see if the AI managed to do it now. But let's have a look at the team. So this is the 11 now at Manchester United. So up front is Phil Shirley, who they've spent 216 million on. So the mad spending didn't end when I left. This is how good Bruno Muniz has become. 92 caps and 68 goals for Portugal. Still only 27 years old. He is quite good. He really is quite good. And then you've got Strobel on the other side, who's got over 100 caps for Germany. He's quite good. How does Yamal even fit into the team? I mean, he's on the bench there. And then in midfield, I mean, it's my boys, Ireland and Filieri. Ireland is now 30, 116 England caps. What a signing he's turned out to be. And Filieri is a proper midfielder now. They've carried on playing him central midfield. He obviously converted to that under my tutelage. 77 caps for Belgium. I wonder where he plays for Belgium. But he is homegrown at Manchester United because we signed him so young. and a great player for them. Let's have. Does he play up front? I imagine he plays further forward for Belgium, surely. Yeah, he plays in the number 10 for Belgium, but central midfield for Manchester United, because they've got to keep doing what I taught them to do. They have finally solved their defensive midfielder problem. Oh my God, did I sign him? How did I not sign him? Yes, he's £105 million. He's 6'7". You can't teach that. 6'7" with bleach blonde hair. What a beautiful Frenchman. So he's in, and then the rest of the team is basically my boys. And they've got a new goalkeeper, Alagic, who they've signed for 80 million from Dortmund. So all they've really done is taken my squad, brought a giant, a striker to replace Ilunga. Ilunga has dropped down to the bench, which seems a little harsh. I mean, I guess he's rotated. With Ilunga and Yamal on the bench, I guess they do play a lot of football still. It's a much smaller squad than... Okay, no, it's not. No, it's not. But Bordalas and Mamishi are my boys. Everton Antonio, obviously, is my boy. Pinterich, we signed in my final season as well. So a lot of the team have stayed together, which is unusual. What I'm not seeing is Levi Burrows. So we'll find out where he's gone. Ricky Pilbro, 84 England caps. So he did carry on after. I've had a year on loan at Barcelona. I mean, that's a different calibre of loan to the ones he was having when he was breaking through at Hull and Oxford and Marseille. It's a weird one because he was a regular starter before, did his year at Barcelona, was outstanding there. I mean, that's the best season of his career, is in a Barcelona shirt, a 7.2 on average rating, 20 goals and assists, and then he's come back and gone straight back into the Man United starting 11 again. I say that. He started 12 games then, 0 games then. So, I mean, I'd go back to Barcelona if I were you, Ricky. Looks like you're going to have more joy there. But where is Burrows? If we go back to my last season, so... they're my transfers. I wonder what happened to Casemiro, because he was top scorer in that World Cup where I got sacked. And he never really broke into the Man United team. Has gone to Chelsea. I mean, that's a story of unfulfilled potential right there. But if we then go to the following season, so this is the first one without me, just the one signing, £166 million on a defensive midfielder. So clearly identifying that was an area that needed fixing. And Mainu went to Arsenal on a free transfer, and he's still there 5 years later. He's become an Arsenal mainstay and now has 25 England caps, despite making his debut at 30. He must be showing as a late developer. I mean, he's a veteran now. He must have been a late developer. They sold Miguel for, that's good business, selling him for 45 million. Garnacho went to Barcelona for 34. Harry Black, the young goalkeeper with 5-star potential, gone to Chelsea, where he's not really played. That's a bit of a shame. You'd think you'd keep him around. And then the following year, again, some big signings, including £101 million on a central midfielder. That seems like a weird transfer, and you can tell he's already left again. It's a weird transfer when you've got Ireland, Filieri, Pilbro. You don't really need that. But they sold Alan Preen to Napoli for 53 million. Della Torre went to Dortmund for 28. That seems like good business for all concerned. We paid 7.5 million for him, loaned him out a bit, and then sold him on for big money. Canizares went to Paris Saint-Germain for 50-something million. Played a season, went to Saudi Arabia, and then retired. So what a career he had. No other major sales. I'm still not seeing Levi Burrows. The following year, again, big sightings. That's where Boulet, the bleach blonde French giant, came in, and also Nuno Sustello, who I feel like is someone I knew about. That name looks familiar. I think he's someone I was looking at and ended up not buying for whatever reason. Keith Wilson went to Aston Villa for £48 million. That's insane. I mean, he's like the reverse Paul Pogba. We've made money on him multiple times over. He came through our youth system. We sold him for 12 million, signed him back for 8.5, and then sold him for 48, having loaned him out for 3 years. He never played a game. He played one game after coming back, one substitute appearance, added £40 million to his value, apparently. And then Villa somehow made a profit on him as well. They took him on loan. He played 33 times. They signed him permanently. He barely played. They loaned him out to Marseille. They've done the same thing, paid even more for him. Keith Wilson, absolute madness. The reverse Paul Pogba in action. Hugo Larsson leaving on a free for Barcelona because he got old. That's fair enough. Pilbro, so Pilbro and Larsson went to Barcelona together. And then still not seeing Levi Burrows. He seems to be the obvious man missing at the moment from all of this. 319 million spent that summer. That's when Phil Shirley came in for stupid money. Gibraltarian as well. So he's a Gibraltarian centre mid / striker who was at Leipzig. It seems like such a weird transfer because he's not really an out-and-out goal scorer, but he's obviously been brought in to play up front because the midfield's so strong, but he's only scored 7 goals, so maybe he was playing in midfield. I don't really get that. For the amount of money, that seems like weird business. Bearing in mind, that's not much less than we played for Yamal, who was a club legend. Talking about good transfer business, by the way, backup goal. Oh, in fact, there you go. Milivojevic became first-choice keeper after Canizares left. Finally ended up establishing himself. It might have looked like a lot when I spent 26 million on him, but remember, he came in and went straight into the Premier League Dream 11. Didn't play for like 3.5 years, but then finally got his chance, became first-choice keeper for a couple of years, and Real Madrid were like, oh, yeah, we'll have another one off you. Having spent that kind of money on Costa a few years before, they now take they took him for mega money. Steve finally left to go to Marseille, having been replaced twice over. Hasseldin went to West Ham. I mean, they made some money on goalkeepers that summer. Again, I mean, he came through he's more of a traditional Pogba because we made a loss on him both times. In fact, the first time we didn't make a loss because he came through the youth system. Still no Levi. Did I just miss Burrows in the squad before? Is he still there? And then this most recent season, didn't spend a lot. Casemiro, there you go. There's Burrows leaving. So Casemiro went to Chelsea. Levi Burrows at 29 went to Napoli, which seems weird, but he kind of lost his place. I mean, I played him a lot, but he never started more than 11 games in a season after I left, which seems a little bit wasteful. They got most of their money back off him, and he's played a lot of games for England. Never really scored the amount of goals you'd expect. Even with me, with my corner shenanigans, in his entire career, never scoring more than 5 league goals in a season, despite being 6'6" with 19 jumping reach and 15 heading. I think it's probably the lack of aggression that caused him to not be the free scoring defender that we all thought he would be. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, this is a Man United team that I've returned to dominance, and goodness me, if they stayed there. We've won the Premier League 4 years in a row. They've won it 5 years since I left, so 9 in a row for Manchester United. If we look at the Champions League, oh my word. 5 in a row in the Champions League. We speculated that I'd put together my best ever squad in Football Manager. I think there's your proof. They have won 5. That's 8 consecutive finals? So lost in the final, won 5 in a row. Oh no, it's the semi-final. So 7 consecutive finals, including 5 in a row. That's quite a good football team, isn't it? I think we've done quite well there, boys and girls. Club World Cup, still only the 1 win. It's so hard to win. It's ridiculous. But yeah, that is, if we look at the full trophy cabinet, there you go. 8 times Champions League winners, 29-time Premier League winners. It's the best squad I've ever put together in Football Manager, and one of the best teams in the history of world football by the looks of it. How have Liverpool been doing? They did make it back. So this is what we're competing with. It's going to be probably a week before I get this video done. But I am going to be doing a video where I take charge of Liverpool and not only try and get them back to the Premier League, but try and topple Manchester United, which we've just seen how hard that's going to be to do because of how good that Man United team is. But in the AI, finished 4th and then finally got promoted and is now a lower mid-table Premier League team. So this is by no means Liverpool returning to what Liverpool should be. They have become Fulham. I still don't really understand why. It's going to be quite fun to see if we can not only get them back to being Liverpool again rather than Fulham, but if we can be the team to finally topple Manchester United. If Man United continue to be absolutely dominant. I mean, we've set them up nicely. We are going to win the league with Liverpool. Let me know in the comments how many years I should give myself to do it. We might even do that as a little mini series before the Pentagon, because full disclosure, still haven't found a suitable database for the Pentagon yet. So it's not ready to start tomorrow, that's for sure. So we might we might do this. There might not be a video tomorrow because it will take a while to get Liverpool sorted. Unless we maybe do one season per video and just do them daily for a bit. We might do that. I'll come up with a plan. There'll be new series soon, though. As soon as we get a good database for the Pentagon, that will start as well. But if you've enjoyed this video, hold on. England. We obviously managed England as well. Look at World Cups. So they won the World Cup before me. And yeah, they didn't go back and win it again after me. It was just that 1 year blip. That's fine. That's all I was checking. If you've enjoyed that video, please leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.